We're back. I just had to do that, take a shot at Texas, but we're back. Not three-peat anymore, 3 and out. And it feels good, doesn't it, gentlemen?
Very.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I mean, like, shout out Noah for thinking quick on his feet with the name change, because we wanted to bring this back with like a new energy. Three-peat was cool. Don't get me wrong. We had fun with three-peat, but like 3 and out, that rolls off the tongue better, in my opinion.
I would agree.
I agree.
With that.
Mm-hmm.
I think with three-peat, as good of an idea as it was, we were all kind of in a different point in our lives, and now it's like now it just feels right to revisit and
oh man,
get back into the saddle.
We're all in different places right now.
Oh, yeah.
The college football juices are flowing. I mean, I'm not in college anymore. I know you're not either, Noah. Mm-hmm. It's like we're in different places now.
Left.
Yeah, the only dog left.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? I mean, like 9 months, I believe, since the last time we got on here and did this, which doesn't feel like 9 months. I think the last thing we did was on the YouTube channel. It wasn't a podcast episode. It was actually just a video, about 25 minutes. And we talked about NFC and AFC championship predictions. And
I thought I saw we made a national championship preview.
We did that also.
Yeah.
By the way, I went back to that video and was like reading the comments. It was either that one or it was a bowl preview prediction. And someone said, they said dogs over Michigan, Bama over them. And they said, the comment was this: Bama 41, Georgia 24, like exact score of the SEC championship. Wow. Stetson's not good enough. And we need to go back to our spot. I know who it is. They're a listener. They're a friend. They're a Kentucky fan, but it was funny that they said Stetson not good enough. Looking back, it's like a freezing cold take.
I don't remember much about reporting that.
Yeah.
I just remember you were so down in the dumps about Georgia.
I think I picked Bama to win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. After
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing after the SEC championship, especially going to that game. That was a rough night.
I mean,
they turned it around.
That's Cam for the milkshakes.
Oh, yes. Those were so. I was talking about that yesterday. I was like, we were driving to State Farm for the concert, and I was like, "You remember when you picked us up?" And she was like, "Yeah, and I got milkshakes." I was like, "That was fun." And then we drove back and had wings in Athens, right? I think we did at like 10 o'clock or something. We might have got
Wingster night.
I think it was a late Wingster night because they're open late, but it was fun regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Made the best of it. And then we won the Natty, so that was sick too.
That was pretty cool.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of ideas for the what's the word I'm looking for? Reincarnation, reboot, soft reboot.
As a film guy.
Yeah, soft reboot. Not a remake, soft reboot. A lot of different segments. We've actually picked every single week. We have a group message and we pick like 5 to 6 games a week. So we're gonna get into that, update you guys on our current standings there. We have a segment called Dog Talk we'll get into where we just go on an unfiltered rant about Georgia, because we're not going to lie to you guys. We're all Georgia fans and we're all homers, and we want to save that for that 5 to 10 minute segment there.
Just let it all out right there.
It's a must.
And then just be a little more unbiased the rest of it.
That's fair. We'll try.
We'll do our best.
Yeah.
Do our best within the realm of possibility.
And then it'll be fun maybe in this episode, since we haven't done one this college football season, to like talk about our top 10. Like we could just put our brains together for it or whatever. I didn't plan a top 10, but I know who I think the number 1 team in the country is, so we can get in all that. But yeah, gentlemen, should we just start with our college football pick'em, how we're standing currently with that?
Yeah,
let's do it.
I'll just get into it. I have a notes thing of it. So honestly, I'm down. This is like a nice little recap of the season. Since we're like midway through right now, we can kind of recap it real quick. This morning I spent the time like tallying everything up. So week 1, all the way back in September 3rd, which feels like not that long ago, but it was about 7-ish weeks ago now. We picked 5 games. Here are the games we picked: UGA versus Oregon, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Arkansas, Cincy, Utah, Florida, and LSU, Florida State. Those were some marquee matchups there. And the results of those: Georgia beat Oregon, Ohio State beat Notre Dame, Arkansas beat Cincy, Florida beat Utah, and LSU, Florida State. One of the is that a contender for game of the year, do you think?
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly. I have thoughts on Brian Kelly. We'll talk about him.
I think we all do. I'm looking back. I picked Cincinnati against Arkansas.
Yeah,
I'm going to take credit. I'm going to put a positive spin on it. I'm going to take credit. I foresaw Arkansas not being as good as people thought.
Fair.
I think I just kind of, I kind of felt it with Cincinnati. I was like, okay, they can sustain the success.
Yeah.
But, for a smaller program like that, losing a Desmond Ridder, by the way, he should start for the Falcons. Losing a Desmond Ridder is a big blow. So I kind of underestimated that in hindsight. But hey, I was right about Arkansas.
You were?
I was not. I was on that hype train. I even put together a couple parlays with Arkansas, and then won't be doing that anymore.
I want
a bit of a letdown there. I thought they were gonna challenge for the West.
That's what I was going to bring up. Is I don't know if it was you. I think it was you or you said a friend had mentioned that they had Arkansas winning the West.
That's my roommate Hunter. Yeah. No, he did like SEC preseason preview predictions or whatever. He had Arkansas coming out of the West, which is a bold pick.
Bold.
There's a lot to like there with KJ Jefferson and Sanders. Raheem Sanders.
They might not even make a bowl. I'm sure that. That's their goal. I don't know if you guys saw that. Pittman was like, our goal was just to make a bowl this season. It was like, come on, man.
You see the same thing. People were high on Arkansas, just like people were high on Michigan State.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, a lot can change.
Oh man. Moving into week 2, we had Alabama, Texas, Tennessee, Pitt, Kentucky, Florida, Baylor, BYU, and USC Stanford. And we all picked Alabama, which they escaped, but every single one of us picked Pitt to beat Tennessee. And I stand by the pick, guys. it was back then. Off. It was an overtime game. I believe it was at Pitt. So
I got some opinions about Tennessee. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We all have thoughts on Tennessee, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. We do.
Week 3, we had App State, Troy, Penn State, Auburn, BYU, Oregon, A&M, Miami, LSU, Miss State. We all went 4-1 this week, which is pretty impressive. I see right here. My loss for that week was picking Miami. Why would I ever pick Miami? I'm never doing that again. Garbage program right now. Horrible, man.
Did pick Miami. Oh no. Well, I picked Auburn.
Disaster.
I picked Auburn against Penn State.
That's true. We all took an L. What
was mine? I don't.
What was your BYU over Oregon?
Oh yeah. That's a more respectable.
That's
pick,
more respectable than Auburn.
Looking at it now, I wouldn't make a pick like that. I think Oregon's playing great. I think that was wasn't too far removed from their them getting curb stomped against Georgia, which turned that around pretty good so far.
They're top 10. If they beat UCLA this upcoming weekend, which we'll talk about, they might be like a top 17.
Yeah, crazy. They've been playing good ball over there.
Credit to UCLA though, honestly. Nobody saw that coming.
No shot. Yeah, no. Week 4 had some pretty solid matchups. We had Clemson, Wake Forest, a thriller. Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas, A&M, Duke, Kansas, the basketball Blue Bloods, and Wisconsin, Ohio State. Now, I want to say a few things about this slate for week 4. We all picked Tennessee, so we were right in that. But you gentlemen know my feelings on Florida. In retrospect, I think a part of me deep down inside was like wanting Florida to pull it off. They got the onside kick. I was like, I want them to score a touchdown here and shut up Rocky Top. And going back, I wish Florida won the game. I wish Florida would beat Tennessee. That's all I have to say. We'll get into why later.
Valid.
Yeah.
I've had Rocky Top stuck in my head for the past 4 days. It's been hell on earth.
It's insufferable.
I'm just sitting at work. I'm like, Rocky Top will always be like, no, I can't do it.
It is awful. But yeah, moving into week 5, this was a scare for us, week 5, because this is when Georgia almost lost to Missouri. I was at a wedding during that game, so I was watching it on YouTube TV. The beverages were flowing, so it was fun. It was scary, but
you went 5-0 that week.
I did, yeah. So we had Ole Miss, Kentucky, Bama, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Wake Forest, Florida State, and Clemson, NC State. That's my only perfect week on the season. And Ole Miss, Kentucky was a good one. I had money on Arkansas to cover the spread. I think it was like 16.5. They still couldn't do it. And Wake Forest is a good football team. How do you feel about Wake Forest? Either. I think they're good.
I like Hartman. I really do.
Okay.
I was going to bring up.
When are you on QB1?
I don't know. I've never watched QB1.
It's good. I think he was, but I like Hartman. There's a lot to like about Wake Forest. They're one of those, good but not great teams.
I'll go back to one of the comments Noah said in our group chat. I found it kind of funny. It's Sam Hartman and a bunch of paid actors. I haven't seen too much of them. I'm not gonna lie and say I've watched a lot of Wake Forest football, but I think they're a solid team. I don't really have too much else to say.
I think bold take here. I think that they're playing in a New Year's Six bowl. That's what I'll say.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think so. I think they go. They only have one loss. I want to say it's to Clemson. I could be wrong, but I think they're going to go. Did they lose one? Did they still play yet? I don't think they played them yet. I don't know them, but I think Wake Forest 10-11 wins this year. They could sling it on offense. I mean, they're like a Big 12 team. So really impressed with them.
They play NC State November 5th.
Wow.
Same day Georgia plays Tennessee.
November 19th, they have Syracuse, who could be good. I don't know.
I have some thoughts on Syracuse, which again, we're going to talk about that when we pick we do our picks. I have some thoughts on the Qs.
The orange.
Week 6. This was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So TCU, Kansas, great game. Tennessee, LSU, which I'll talk about shortly. Utah, UCLA, BYU, Notre Dame, Arkansas, Miss State, and Kentucky, South Carolina. TCU, Kansas, one of the better games of the season, in my opinion. Definitely. I don't know if either of you got to catch any of that one, but Kansas quarterback Jalen, I think his name's Jalen Daniels, went down, and then Bean came in. Bean threw for 4 touchdowns.
I've been seeing people pick TCU to make the playoff.
Which that's going to be tough.
I think one of the ESPN writers, I can't remember. I follow the Peach Bowl on Instagram, and they do weekly bowl prediction type thing. And one of them had Georgia playing TCU. And I was
I need to bring that up right now. A little side rant. I want your 2 cents on this.
Okay.
It pisses me off to no end how every single week we get updated predictions for the bowls. And it's they don't put any thought into conference scenarios. This person has, I don't know who it is. I just screenshot it on Twitter. The college football playoff championship, Georgia, Tennessee. That's not possible. That's not possible because those 2 teams are going to play each other. And one of them is going to could go 11-1, miss the SEC championship. The other one could go on to the SEC championship. I don't even think that's insane. 2 East teams playing in the Natty. It's not happening.
Sure. Hey, Big J journalists got to get their clicks in, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's a wild take.
That's all I really got to say about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
just it had to be some kind of earth-shattering scenario where 2 teams from the East even make the playoff.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Just with how the SEC is structured, it'd be tough.
As Nick Saban would say, it's a whole lot of rat poison.
It is.
And as a fan, you have to somewhat stay away from all that because first 4 weeks of the season, I'm reading about, Georgia is even better than they were last year. And then they almost lose in Columbia to Missouri. Yeah. And I'm like, well.
Very humbling experience watching that in my living room.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sweating against a game against Missouri, which I haven't done in years. Flash me back. What year was that? The Isaiah McKenzie touchdown.
Oh,
that was 2016 with the East.
That was 2016.
Yeah. 2016.
I thought you were talking about losing at home to them.
I did too.
There. I was there.
That's rough.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. That was after the injury-filled Tennessee game, so it was that season was doomed. And now we're caught up to week 7, which was last week, and in that week we had some college football. Let me tell you, son. Penn State, Michigan, Alabama, Tennessee, USC, Utah, Miss State, Kentucky, Oklahoma State, TCU, and Syracuse, North Carolina State. Alabama, Tennessee, without question, the best college football game of the year, and one of the best college football games in years, I would say.
Look at me go picking Tennessee. Yep. Wow. All right.
Impressive. I could, up to that point, I couldn't justify picking against Alabama.
Nor could I.
That's fair. I mean, I just saw them barely survive at home against A&M, and I was like, you know what? Maybe the home field advantage is too much.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a game, and Noah and I got to watch that when I get there. I know you were at the Georgia game, right, Brandon?
Yeah, I was at the Georgia game, but we were walking back through downtown Athens, and one of the bars had it on the big screen. We saw that last sequence.
Yeah.
Alabama's kicker just misses it straight to the right, and Tennessee gets in field goal range, and just a crazy sequence there at the end. Crazy game in general.
That shit should have gone to overtime. I'm still mad that this parlay lost. Hold on, I gotta pull up the parlay. Dude, I want to rant. I want to rant about this.
Go for it, please.
So we're gambling pretty much most of the day. We're gambling.
What we were doing is essentially that TikTok trend where it's like, I'm sorry, and it's like you swipe through the pictures and it's like placing parlays with the boys, and then it's like being upset. 3:30 slate rolls around. defeat, 7 o'clock slate. And it's like, we just kept placing a bunch of different bets like fools.
Yeah. It's like, who are we putting money on this time? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I got to scroll.
I know for a fact that none of this would have mattered because the USC game screwed everyone in the end anyway. And like, so yeah, it was so frustrating.
Yeah. Oh, it really was. We put the night game parlay was terrible.
Did you have USC money line?
All of us. Yep.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then who did we have never had a chance?
Here's what we did. We threw this together. I think we did USC money line. It was
Miss State. It was Miss State.
Versus, it was like -5 versus Kentucky. And then the only one that hit was Clemson, like -4 or something versus Florida State. So
okay. I mean, honestly, that Miss State pick isn't terrible. I was on they've been rolling for a few weeks. I was kind of on that Miss State little hype train.
Yeah, I have to tell the story. I have to tell that story though. So it was like 10:30 at night at this point. We were all exhausted and I felt like nauseous. I ate a bad burger or something. And it's like, it's like 10:30. It's 10:30. And I literally said 5 seconds before this happened, this is the Miss State Kentucky game we had 2 TVs. I go, yeah, I'm really down. I don't think I'm placing any bets next week. Like I might take some time off. As I said that, Will Levis threw a pick to Miss State, and I've never got it faster. The dude's running to the end zone. I go, we're back, never a doubt. we all got up and we were like electric. And I was about to fall asleep, and we all like shot up. It was incredible.
That game just hurt to watch. Man.
It was so bad, dude.
Okay,
and Kentucky is bad, but so is Miss State.
Yeah, they're both. Meh.
Yeah.
So earlier in the day, the 3:30 Oklahoma State TCU. Bowie and I we had the same parlay pretty much. We both had Bama. Did you have Bama money line on that?
I had Bama money line.
Yeah, I also had Bama money line, and I had Syracuse -3. Did you have Syracuse? Okay. So we had the same parlay. It's just the third leg was that Oklahoma State TCU game.
Yeah.
He took TCU. I took Oklahoma State +5.5. It was. Who did you have? Did you have like?
I had TCU covering. I'm pretty sure. I also had the over. Yeah. The over hit in a separate bet.
Yeah, I had the over as well. That was a good one. That was the only bet I won all day. So this 3:30 game is winding down, and Bowie and I are sitting there next to each other, just absolutely going back and forth. Like anything happens, either I'm yelling at the TV, Chris is yelling at the TV. Then it goes to overtime.
Yeah.
And just that game was a wild game. Like shout out to both of those teams. They're both pretty good. Glad my bet hit, but Bama screwed me over. Anyway, glad the bet hit, but it was kind of fun to get the competitive fire going between us and see
that was a lot.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And the irony of it all is like, even if Bama had won the game, did you have USC in it or no? Was that a separate parlay? Because I had USC, I had like USC in mind. So even if I had hit TCU and Bama, I still would have been screwed by USC, which was I didn't watch the tape of that, but I heard they lost. I think Utah went for 2 at the very end.
Yeah,
I could be
2-point conversion.
Yeah, I never watched the film of it, but that's wild.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was pissed after that Bama game because like you make that field goal and then you go to overtime or you win the game because then Tennessee can't move the ball down the field like they did. They had a short field, but yeah, that would have won me $20. That would have been cool, but
I hit my first bet ever, the over of TCU Oklahoma State. I think I won $1 and like 20 cents. So that was awesome.
Better than nothing.
I have a quick rant while we're here, if that's all right with you. I think the Alabama Tennessee game was a great game. I think there were some bad calls both ways. And this is like a two-sided rant. Number one, the Alabama fan base legitimately can't take an L. My whole timeline somehow became it. Every single tweet, it's like, never forget, 9 of Alabama's 18 national championships had at least one loss. It's like they're trying so hard to be like they're still in conversation for winning an Natty, and it makes me sick. But also, I want as Georgia fans, I can't imagine being so openly cheering for the Tennessee Volunteers in that game. Like I hate Bama, we all hate Bama, but like long term, Tennessee's been a rival for so much longer. And all three of us, at least I know for a fact, have been Georgia fans for a really long time. This might be a hot take. I don't think so. I think all the people that were like openly happy and cheering for Alabama are like very recent Georgia fans. I don't know if that's gatekeeping, but like, I don't know how you can be like Rocky Top, baby, and like being so into it unless you have like money on it. Like, I don't get it.
Those are people who didn't watch the 2015 Tennessee game.
Or 16. 2 L's in a row to them, bro.
When they did not watch that game when Nick Chubb was carted off the field with a devastating knee injury, and they were cheering about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Since that point, I've had a personal vendetta against Tennessee. I hate them. I want them to lose. I want them to lose.
No, I'm not. No, unfiltered. I hate Tennessee. Screw them. Screw Rocky Top. Orange is ugly as hell. And also screw their Hail Mary. That pissed me off. They have 2 wins versus Georgia. And I'm going to say this right now. Early. I'm fired up right now. I want to go there. Georgia by double digits in Athens. You'll get my final score prediction.
I like it.
When the week rolls around, but they're coming out fired up and they're going to shut Tennessee up. They think they won the national championship. They haven't had a playoff appearance. They haven't been relevant in so long. And I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of it. I will say this as a Georgia fan, and this means a lot to you too, because you know, you've had to hear me go off about Florida for years. Right now, my hatred for Tennessee might be a little bit more than my hatred for Florida, just because they won't shut the hell up.
I like it. Yeah.
That's fair at this point in time. You know, after the recent win, it's like so you would have thought they'd just won back-to-back national championships.
Yeah. Okay, real quick on the subject of Alabama before we get too far off the road. Brandon, you know what this is.
I think I know where you're headed too, but
I sent this last night in the group chat with the Spike Squad guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you got a chance to read it. Okay, this was posted on Reddit. In r/Roll Tide group chat.
After this, I have something to add too about the Alabama fan base after the loss, but you go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. This is posted by Family Guy Fan 84. So real expert. All right. I gotta clear my throat. I gotta get in the zone for this reading because it's 4 paragraphs.
It's
quite a read.
It's amazing.
It's one of the most delusional pieces of literature I've read in my entire existence.
It's delusional.
Just go for it.
All right. The title of the post is On Bryce Young. It's unacceptable for him to leave without a ring as a starter. He's a once-in-generation quarterback for even a program like ours with 3 starting NFL quarterbacks. He's someone who deserves a national title, both in terms of talent and work ethic. Like, okay, nothing too crazy so far.
Yep.
Just wait.
Okay.
Creates plays from nothing like Mahomes. Takes sticks like Elway. I don't know what that means. Commands the offense like Manning. Makes decisions like Montana. Wheels like Vic.
Okay.
Leads men like Brady. Tough like McNair. Fiery like Breeze.
This sounds like something from 22 Jump Street.
We got a few more.
Cynthia.
Ice in his veins like Jalen. Arm like Tua. Pocket presence like Mac.
Gosh.
Hopefully he gets babes like McCarron.
Oh, God.
This guy's leaving everything on the field despite undisciplined penalties, poor defensive execution, dropped passes, and missed blocking assignments. That's a who's who of excuses right there. Like, if you ask me, like, damn. And the only time I've ever seen him lose his cool, parentheses, I watch every snap because I have no fucking life, is in the national title game. Because after several miscues from other players, with his top 2 wide receivers out, against one of the greatest defenses ever, thank you, coached by one of the greatest defensive minds known to man. Is that Kirby or is that Saban? I think it's Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby.
Yeah.
With a pissed off 6'4", 250-pound first-round pick running full speed at him, completely unblocked, he missed a go-ahead throw to Holden in the end zone during the 4th quarter. After all that, he's only focused on and disappointed with what he can control. This guy is the fucking man. All right, here to put a bow on it.
He's a damn good football player. I will admit.
He is. All right, here to put a bow on it. I'm begging the Bama staff and players not to let this guy go to the NFL without a title. Do not let CJ fucking Stroud, Hendon Hooker, or God for fucking bid, Stetson Bennett again stand over him at the end of the season. He's hilarious. Better than Tebow, Newton, and Burrow.
Delusional.
He deserves more.
Delusional.
The pass rush, DBs, special teams, and wide receivers owe it to him to execute to the Bama standard. Everyone in those positions is an elite player who's capable of dominating Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Ole Miss. Whoever comes across their desk, it doesn't matter. That was a full-on rant.
That concludes today's lesson on our 5-paragraph essay from our Alabama. I mean, like what? Like I saw a lot of the points he makes. Like it would be weird if he didn't get a ring, sure, but it's probably not going to happen. He's going to go to the NFL after the season. And he's not getting a ring, but
I mean, neither is Stroud.
Just comparing
Stroud might talk about Stroud in a second.
Maybe.
Just comparing him to the quarterbacks he compared him to. We're talking about Hall of Famers. We're talking about some of the best college football quarterbacks ever.
Mm-hmm.
What got me is better than Burrow. Like, oh,
that's insane.
Oh,
that's something. That's something.
Oh,
yeah, that's awful.
On the topic of delusional Alabama fans, I wanted to bring up something I saw on social media in regards to their loss and to some of the delusions they've been having lately. I've been seeing a lot of them on Twitter and TikTok and other places. But I think the best that I saw it yesterday or today. I forget where I saw it. I'll find it later. But it was one Alabama fan saying how they needed, so y'all know how they picked up the goalpost, threw it in the Tennessee River, whatever. Yeah. This Alabama fan was saying they needed to go to the Tennessee River and get the goalpost out of the river and measure the distance that the uprights were from each other, because the reason why they picked it up and threw it in the river is because the uprights were not regulation. They were too close to each other. Oh. And that's why if they were regulation, the kick would have went through the uprights and they would have won the game.
Okay, hold on.
That's like let's insane levels of coping right there. Levels of coping right there.
Crazy.
Absolutely utter insanity. And while you look that up, Noah, I'll go ahead and say that through 7 weeks of college football, Mr. Nash, Brandon, is leading. 23-14 is his record with the picks. And second place is me. I'm 22-15. And last is Noah, 20-17. We're all above 500. We all are in contention for that top spot. And we'll continue picking. And now that we have this back, we'll pick like our 5-6 games on here.
One last thing before we move on. Back to your point about measuring the goalposts. Let's see what it really came down to as far as so we got a super slow motion. All right. Yep. Here we go.
Laces are out.
Hey, we're looking good.
Looking good there.
They're gonna
it's
hit
online there. Online there. And that's where we
Yeah.
It actually came a lot closer.
It came back a little bit.
It did.
I didn't know it did that, but
look at that goalpost though. That's like regulation size goalpost.
That is completely.
Hey man, if it were regulation, they would have made it.
Exactly.
According to their delusional minds, yes. But here's
bring that up with. I was talking with somebody. I think it might have been Drew the other day. Or it's one of y'all. But I think they should make like the uprights into a square. It's like, okay, you really want to be good at kicking? Kick it through the square.
Pretty interesting.
That would be like arena football. That'd be a cool rule.
Like there's a crossbar on the top too. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I saw one point. I think it was after Justin Tucker hit a field goal. They're talking about how he hits to like right down the middle. How there should be like a second set of uprights within the uprights. That would be like they're like it's just narrower and it would be worth more points.
Some dude on Twitter showed like true center of the uprights, and Justin Tucker was like less than half an inch.
Yeah.
One way. It's insane how good that man is at kicking a football.
Precision and accuracy, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Do you think, and then we'll move on from the Alabama, Tennessee, and we have a few more things we can talk about. Do you think that if Alabama hits that field goal, the game still goes to overtime? Because I think it probably does. There would have been like what, set 16. So after the kick, let's say it's 16 seconds left in the game. I still think Hendon Hooker, with the way Alabama's defense was playing, I still think Tennessee gets in field goal range there and probably sends it to overtime. But you never know. It's a big what if.
I think they had a good shot without Tennessee was playing at that point.
Yeah,
Alabama's defense is still reeling, and for them to even get in, I don't know how far that field goal was or how far they went from when Alabama missed theirs to when they made theirs, but it wasn't a short distance. I mean,
yeah,
looking back at the miss, they get the ball back with like 16 seconds on the clock, which 17 seconds factor in a kickoff. That'd be really dicey to drive, 60 yards to go kick a field goal. So I think maybe Bama wins.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
How different would the college football landscape be today if Rocky Top had gone down? It'd be an interesting conversation.
They'd be one.
Bama would be one. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for sure they would be. As far as the rankings stand as it is today, we haven't really talked about them, but the AP top 10 right now, I'm just going to go through it and then we can kind of give if we would change anything. That's kind of because I don't know y'all's opinions. Number 10, Oregon, number 9, UCLA, number 8, TCU, number 7, Ole Miss, number 6, Alabama, number 5, Clemson, number 4, Michigan, number 3, Tennessee, number 2, Ohio State, and number 1, Georgia. The big question here, and the big question a lot of people have is like, should Alabama have fallen more? It's tough to say.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about it after the game. I was talking with some of my friends. Now, I thought they would trade spots with Tennessee. Okay. I thought it was going to be a little switch. I think they're about right. They maybe could have dropped them. Is Ole Miss at 7? They maybe could have dropped them. They could have switched Alabama and Ole Miss.
Yeah,
possibly.
Now I'll say this:
I think they fell right around where they should have after that game.
Yeah. How about this? So Alabama, if they continue to play close and they win close games like they did versus Texas A&M, and teams like TCU and like an Oregon or UCLA keep winning, Ole Miss is undefeated going into the Alabama game, I think they kind of have to reorganize as a pool. And I think the College Football Playoff Committee might drop Alabama down a little more. We'll see. It'll be interesting for sure. But as far as the top 10 goes, again, it's still, in my opinion, a little too early to even have AP rankings. I think they should just not have any rankings and then have the first ranking be the College Football Playoff in like November.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about a few things. Number one, I know Michigan handily took care of Penn State. I think Clemson should be 4. That's just me. I don't know if Georgia should be 1. It's weird. It's weird because I'm a fan of that team. So like, it's hard to separate that. I think Ohio State might need to be number 1 just because of how explosive their offense is, but I don't know. My thing is Tennessee should not be number 1. I throw this resume crap out the window, in my opinion. Like, and this goes for us, Georgia. Last year, they had some wins versus quote ranked opponents, which were ranked at the time, but then they fell off. And like, that doesn't mean anything to me. And that's why what I like about the college football playoff is I hope that the college football playoff committee understands like a win that Tennessee had versus Florida, who was technically ranked, is not that impressive. LSU, Pitt, and like those were ranked wins, but really at the end of the day, what? I don't know. That's how I feel about it. It's weird.
Ranked at the time.
That's
the biggest thing.
That's what they need to call it. They don't even, they say ranked at the time of playing. That's what they should say.
Current ranked wins is the stat that should matter.
Yes.
Is
the team currently ranked? And Oregon's number 10 right now.
Oregon is number 10.
So
the difference between the number 1 team and the number 10 team is 46 points.
Yes.
We fucking sorry. Yeah. We beat that.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Tennessee does have probably the most impressive win though. So
yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. I mean, up to this point, that is definitely the most impressive one.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you guys shift anything around, or do you like the top 10 how it is, or do you think it's irrelevant right now?
As a Georgia fan, I like seeing the dogs at number 1.
That's fair.
But I think that's one of the most debatable aspects is Ohio State or Georgia at number 1. I think one could argue that I don't think Ohio State has played in a close football game this year. I don't think they've had the slip-ups. How close is that game?
That was like...
I think it ended up being close. It was close, but then I think Ohio State ended up winning by like 2 touchdowns or something like that, maybe.
So maybe a little bit of a slip-up. I don't know. After Missouri, you could argue that Georgia should
21-10.
You can say what you want. Okay. So we're talking 2-possession ball game. That's not bad there. I think there's definitely an argument to be made. Ohio State for number 1. I think that I don't think that's really up for too much debate there.
Hey, neutral field. I like Georgia's chances. Georgia matches up really well. Like if they can shore up their secondary, get a couple guys healthy, really hone in on those receivers Ohio State has, I'm feeling pretty good about a potential Georgia-Ohio State matchup.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
I don't think those two teams have played it. Definitely not in our lives, but like, I don't know if they've ever played. Maybe in like the 40s or something. It's been a long time ago.
Probably been a while. That, and then I think I agree with you, Chris. I don't think Michigan should be ranked above Clemson at this time. I think that, I don't know, that Michigan offense is rough. I mean, you could say the same thing about Clemson, but I don't know. I think a loss is coming for one of those teams
for the Tigers or the Wolverines or both.
Either. I mean, they've both been playing some dicey football.
Here's the interesting.
Michigan can run the ball.
They can run the ball. Yeah,
I am so much less confident in Clemson though.
Yeah,
I'll say this about the whole rankings situation is like the old saying, it's going to take care of itself. It legitimately is. Number 1 and 3 right now play each other in the regular season. Number 2 and 4 play each other. They're both on the same like side of their conference. So that in a way, those are playoff games. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Those are like the extended playoff games that we'll be getting in a few years.
That's
They're really important.
Rationale a lot of people have for not wanting expansion. It's like you have 12 or 13 playoff games.
Yeah.
Like that's why we play the games.
Yeah. Number 9 and 10 play each other this weekend. 7 and 6 are going to play in a few weeks. Like it's all going to take care of itself. Yeah. So everyone, all this time of year, everyone gets up in arms. They're like, this is why we have to have 12, 16 teams. It's like everyone that's undefeated is damn sure not going to finish the season undefeated right now. I tell you that much.
Yeah.
So
I will say though, the people arguing for expansion, like, there is that argument I just kind of stated that you have 13 of them. But at the same time, you see it with like 2017 Georgia, as an example.
Yeah.
A team that gets hot down the stretch and is playing their best ball is a dangerous team. So you get a team like 2017 Auburn too.
Yeah.
Like they dropped 2 early games, 1 to Oklahoma, 1 to Clemson, I think. Come roaring back in the back end of their schedule, and they beat us in the SEC title game. They make the playoff with 2 losses. So
I think. No, you go. Sorry.
With expansion, I just think that is going to be so much more prevalent because you start playing these games with, I don't know, like the Oklahoma States and the Baylors of the world. Like, start getting on a roll with their offense, and then they meet like, I don't know, Ole Miss or Tennessee or Georgia or Bama, and who knows.
I think that's one of the more fun aspects that the expansion will bring is, I think one of the most fun parts about professional sports, especially talking about NBA or MLB is, you get hot at the right time. It doesn't matter how you played in the regular season. There could be an argument to be made that, is kind of that gap between college and professional. And, that might be valid, but the point still stands that you could, it's fun to see those teams that you don't really have in the forefront of your mind, get hot at the right time and make a run for it. So I think it would definitely be fun in that aspect.
Absolutely. I mean, and the amount of time of Georgia teams, that would have made the playoff, the 2012 Georgia team, the 2018 Georgia team would have made a 12-team playoff that came damn close to Alabama. There's a lot of teams like that. Even as much as I hate the Florida Gators, the Kyle Trask team in 2020 that damn near came back and beat Alabama in that SEC championship, they probably would have made the playoffs. So there's a lot of exciting offenses like that. That would not be shut down as soon. But like, speaking of playoff matchups, I think we might have ourselves some this weekend. One notably in the ACC, as we might as well kind of segue into picking our games if you guys are down.
Let's do it.
Clemson versus Syracuse, battle of unbeatens in Death Valley. Clemson, last I checked, 13.5-point favorite. I see them covering that. I think Clemson wins this game by about 17 to 21 points. Syracuse, I'm not buying into Syracuse. I know that historically they had some close games in the past, but in Death Valley, that place is going to be rocking. That they got an undefeated team coming to town. Clemson takes care of business. And I know that I have had thoughts on Clemson in the past. I've watched DJ lately. I've watched some highlights. He's slinging it. He's playing a lot better. Clemson, I don't want to say anything about my playoff predictions, but if they keep winning games like this, they're in the playoff.
Yep.
So you guys got Clemson or Syracuse?
Brandon, you go ahead.
I'll go ahead. I got Clemson. Yeah. I think it might be a little bit closer of a game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm putting together a parlay with that game in it per se.
No shot for me.
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that line. No. But I think Clemson pretty handily. I remember one year Syracuse beat Clemson. It was a few years back. That was a away game though. We're talking about, in Clemson.
It was like a Friday night, I want to say, wasn't it?
I think it was.
It was a Friday night, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On a field goal, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Very close game. Yeah.
Not this time.
Clemson,
Clemson rolls.
Clemson's defense is still really damn good.
Yes. No, Syracuse is not putting enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, Syracuse is not putting up enough points to win that game.
Accuse Noah?
No, I'm rocking with Clemson. like you were saying, hostile environment in Death Valley.
Yeah.
Syracuse, I've seen some good things from them. I have not watched the snap. We've seen some good things, but a young kind of upstart type of team, their first trip into a hostile road environment sometimes is ugly. And you said what, 13 and a half?
13 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see a late touchdown to bring that to 21 or 28 points. So I think Clemson finally getting the offense going after what seems like 2 seasons. But yeah, I'll take Clemson.
Fair enough, man. That's going to be a noon kickoff for those wondering, I believe. As far as the next game, College Game Days at this game, we're just going to pick it anyway, unless you want to. I don't think it matters. UCLA, Oregon, top 10 matchup in Eugene. Isn't that where Oregon is? I want to say it's Eugene.
I believe so.
You're correct.
Not Fitzherbert. This is not Tangled, but UCLA, Oregon. We've got the Ducks versus the Bruins, and I want to say Oregon was about a 6.5 point favorite. Let me try and find this game real quick on the.
I'm looking at it right now. It's at 6 right now.
Okay. I like Oregon a lot. They're literally the definition of one of those teams we were just talking about that kind of loses early on. They catch heat. The reason I'm picking Oregon is because they understand that they have to. Well, here's the thing. They can still lose another Pac-12 game and still win the Pac-12, but they already have a loss and they kind of want to be perfect from here on out. UCLA on the road, Oregon's hard place to win. That place, again, going to be rocking. Give me Oregon by a touchdown. So they cover, but barely. 7 points, Oregon.
I agree with a lot of points you made there. I like Oregon a lot in this game, although I do like UCLA a lot. Kind of out of nowhere this season. I like Dorian Finney-Smith a lot. Great game last week, but they're not doing it in Eugene.
What's the quarterback's name?
Is it Dorian Dorian Thompson?
Did I say some shit
DTR?
Wrong?
You said Dorian Finney-Smith. He's an NBA player.
His first name is Dorian. That's the
first. I can't even say the guy's name. Is Dorian Thompson Robinson? Name? Is that his name?
Thompson Robinson?
DTR. Yeah, that's what
DTR.
they call him. Yeah.
Okay, I heard Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm like, what?
I don't know. I don't watch the NBA, so I was like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. A little mix up there.
DTR, baby.
I like Dorian. I like DTR.
Yeah.
Excuse my mistake.
So you're going Ducks?
Going Ducks. Ducks to cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. White?
I'm trying not to make the mistake I make every week. You know what? Screw it. We're like, I try to be rational with my picks. Sometimes I make picks off vibes, which sometimes it works for me if I'm gambling and I'm like, okay, the vibes kind of point to, I like this team tonight. Give me the Bruins. Give me the Bruins.
Okay.
They're hot. All right. That quarterback is special, man.
If they win that, dude, if they win that game, they are a legitimate college football playoff contender, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
So that USC UCLA game will be fun. Battle of LA.
And as much as Georgia's resume may take a hit because of Oregon losing, I think UCLA could be the real deal. They got one hell of a quarterback.
Fair. Next, we're heading to the real Death Valley. Let us know what you think if you're watching the video version. LSU hosts Ole Miss in a game that spread truly baffles me to my core. I want to say right now, Ole Miss is a 2-point underdog. Is that correct? Number 7 in the country, a dog versus LSU. The last time I put money on LSU was when they hosted Tennessee, and I was confident. I was confident on LSU winning outright. And then I watched the game, and I realized Brian Kelly is a moron in one of the most overrated countries in America. And I could sit here and kind of similar. I could say, well, it's Death Valley. The vibes are there. Well, I watched the Tennessee LSU game, and there were no vibes there, and that was at 11. This is technically 2:30 for them. Their fans are probably just going to complain that it's not a night game, right? I mean, that's what they do. It's tempting, really tempting to pick LSU because they just beat Florida, and it's like Ole Miss is due, right? Because they never go like fully undefeated. I'm picking Ole Miss, close, but Ole Miss wins. Too much offense, and that could just be a classic shootout game. But Brian Kelly's a moron, and until he proves me wrong, he's a moron. That's what I have to say. How about you, boys?
I would tend to agree on being a bit baffled on that line. Mm-hmm. It seems, I mean, for betting purposes, it seems too good to be true. And Vegas tends to know things that we don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case here. I mean, I could see the argument for LSU Death Valley. It's a 3:30 kick. I don't think that does enough for them. I don't think they overcome that Ole Miss offense. I don't think they can do it.
I will say Ole Miss has struggled versus Vandy and Auburn lately. It's like weird shootout games. And Jaden Daniels, he's a baller. He really is. So that could be interesting. But I have put faith in LSU a few times this season, and they've disappointed me. So it's like more of a personal vendetta. I can't pick them in the game this year. So Ole Miss.
I don't feel confident picking LSU here. They're such an up and down team this season. Do I think they could? I think they could win. I think there's scenarios where they could win this football game. They're an interesting football team this year. I don't think they win on Saturday.
Fair.
I got Ole Miss.
Very fair.
Noah?
So I'm looking ahead at Ole Miss's schedule. They go to Death Valley next week. Night game at Texas A&M. And then they have a bye, and then they have Bama coming to town. Mm-hmm. And I was checking this to make sure, okay, big game next week, could be a letdown spot. Texas A&M's a tough out, but I'm not calling that really a big game per se. As much as I like the quarterback that LSU has, that's about all I like about him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me Ole Miss, pull away late. Close at first, pull away late.
Fair. I got a lock, boys. I got a lock, and I'm about to get into this. If this is my lock, if I had to pick one of the week that I am certain of, Texas goes to Oklahoma State.
I just saw that line. I'll let you get into it, but that caught my eye on my phone. I almost didn't believe what I just saw. So Boo, you get into that.
The Texas Longhorns, which by the way, with Quinn Ewers back, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. Okay. They escaped, I want to say, with Iowa State. They barely won the game. Oklahoma State just lost to TCU. This is prime bounce back for them. It's in Stillwater. They're hosting Texas. And the last I saw, Oklahoma State, 6.5-point underdog at home versus Texas. That's free money in my eyes. All right. I think Oklahoma State wins outright. I really do. But I would put money on this. And I'm not telling anyone out there to take my advice. I have won one bet in my professional career. But how could you pass up on this? Okay. Oklahoma State bounces back big.
I'm bet this right now.
And Texas, I don't know. It's Texas. Can you really have faith in them until they fully prove that they're back? I don't know. Oklahoma State bounces back. Confident.
That's the question for me. Has Texas turned back into a pumpkin? That's really the question to be had. Little Cinderella reference there. Has the clock struck midnight on the Quinn Ewers honeymoon? We're going to find out. I don't know. But I like Oklahoma State at least to cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because it could literally be a 3-point game. Like it could be one of those 52-49 games or something.
Yeah.
So,
at home?
At home.
Wild to me.
They have to know something.
It's anyone in the Big 12 is going to get up. Their fans are going to get up to play Texas. They want to beat Texas.
I may parlay UCLA covering +6 and Oklahoma State covering +6.
Ooh, I like if I'm doing that, I'm going Ole Miss +2 and Oak State +6.5. That's all I'm doing. I might just do that.
Yeah,
I might make it. Yeah, I may not want to touch that Oregon game.
I don't know if I want to touch that game.
Yeah.
I'll put the over.
Are we safely all going Oklahoma State in this game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Across the board.
Yes. Yep.
Fair. Well, we got a really interesting matchup that I want to talk about that I don't know how much confidence I have in, but Mississippi State, they're going to Tuscaloosa, the big bad Alabama that just took a loss for the first time in 15 years, I want to say, to Tennessee. This has classic slaughter, bounce back Nick Saban, but at the same time, this is a little bit of a different Alabama team, and they might not be resilient. What if they quiver away and they lose two? This is what I'm saying. We don't know. They could lose. They could go 9-3. They could lose this. They could win a close one here. They could lose to LSU or Ole Miss. Those are both road games, I believe. Yeah, it's kind of tough. I don't know. I think that I think Alabama wins and they probably cover. I think it was like 21 or something. They'll probably. I mean, but you never know. Will Rogers, if he catches fire, it could be a fun one, but I do think Alabama wins.
21. I think there's a off chance that Mississippi State covers. I also don't think Mississippi State is very good.
No.
Personally. Big bounce back game for Alabama. Nick Saban is going to be on their ass all week. I would not want to be an Alabama player right now. But Alabama easy. Alabama rolls in Tuscaloosa. They get their bounce back win.
This is a pivotal game for Alabama's season. Last week, I mean, we saw it. 5 touchdowns for that one Tennessee receiver. Another running, I don't know his name.
Jalen Hyatt.
Hyatt scored 5 touchdowns by himself. The Bama secondary got torched. So are they at home or are they in Starkville?
They're at home.
Tuscaloosa.
Yep. They're in Tuscaloosa. Okay. Go back home. You're playing another team that loves to air it out. Historically Mike Leach, obviously. It's going to be a very telling game to see where Bama is mentally and to see if they're, bought into the bounce back and, if they've kind of, I see the Tennessee game for Bama as a bury the film type of game. Like take the lessons that can be learned and then just bury it. You gotta move on, because a loss like that, if you let it fester, sometimes you're never the same after it. And be very telling to see how Bama comes out, how they set the tempo. That being said, I think they do. They're still, the 4th best team in the country, at least. Bama to win, Bama to cover.
Fair enough. I think Bama wins big as well. And then one more game for the week. We're picking 6 this week because there's a lot of good matchups. Ranked on ranked Big 12 action. Kansas State at TCU. Number 17 versus number 8 in the country. That's 8:00 kick. That'll be a fun little nightcap right there. I watched K-State dismantle Oklahoma, and at the time I thought it was the biggest deal ever. Looking back, Oklahoma sucks. I got in Brent Venables' head in that elevator back in Charlotte. I have been haunting him ever since. For context, you might be able to find, I think I told the story somewhere on one of his old podcast episodes, but TCU -3.5 right now. TCU's on fire. There's no way they're losing that game at home at night. No way.
Nope.
It could be a really close game. They might not even cover, but TCU is on fire. That place is going to be electric. Give me TCU by a touchdown.
That line is TCU 3.5.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to say, give me TCU win and a cover.
Okay.
Like you said, 8:00. That place is bumping. They're feeling good. TCU is a fun team to see be good again.
Yeah, I agree.
Fun team. I remember back.
Shout out Trevone Boykin.
Yeah, I was about to mention, dude. I was about
to say that. Middle school watching that. That's a fun team when they're good. I honestly love TCU. That's one of my teams that if I weren't a Georgia fan, that would be one of the teams I would root for.
The Horned
I
Frogs,
like the teams with the obscure mascots.
Yeah,
the Horned Frogs.
Yeah.
Love it.
You going TCU as well, Mr. White?
Yeah, I'll take TCU. I just think they got some momentum like that. that win last week. That is a gutsy win on the road. Was it on the road or was it at home? Shit.
I think it might have been on the road.
I don't know.
Could be wrong.
Gutsy win nonetheless, whether it was at home, even more so on the road. But hey.
It was at home, but still impressive.
Okay.
At home, but still,
it's a win against a ranked team. Like, yeah, they're gonna keep the mojo going.
Oh, absolutely. Quick shout out to them. I just pulled up TCU went on the road to Kansas, and that was a ranked win. They hosted Oklahoma State 1 and 2 overtimes, and now I think they're gonna host Kansas State and beat them. Then they got a fairly favorable schedule. Oh, yeah. They might actually go 12-0.
They might.
So that would be pretty awesome.
I love that offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at their schedule. The hardest game they have after this week is Texas.
Yep. At Texas, at Baylor. Baylor's a joke right now to me. Iowa State at home. These are just no order. Texas Tech at home and at West Virginia. They could make some noise nationally. And if they do go on to win the Big 12, they have solidified a spot in playoff. 13-0, they're in without question.
Yep.
Undefeated conference champion. That's automatic.
Yep. Which is why I think that, again, if every team that's on a hot streak right now does go undefeated and win their conference, bye-bye to SEC. So whoever you got to win the SEC, in my opinion, to get in this year. I don't think there's any room for losing the SEC championship unless both. Actually, that's not even really possible. I don't think anymore. Yeah, no. I was going to say, like, for example, and then I'll shut up about this. If Alabama goes 11-1 and Georgia goes 12-0 and Alabama beats Georgia, I don't see Georgia getting in this year. Because that's you would have like undefeated Ohio State, undefeated TCU, Clemson, and then you got to put the SEC champion. So it's the cards really fell nicely for Georgia to get backdoor in the playoff last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, they did.
Agreed.
It would have been a lot more difficult if Oklahoma State had won that game.
Yeah, you're damn right. I do think they would have just put him in over Cincy, which was again really weird season, but it's tough to make the 14 playoff. It really is.
Path is not as easy this year.
No.
I like it for college football though. I like seeing a bit of a difference in the teams that show up in there.
Oh, I love it. And kind of like putting some closing thoughts on this great little comeback episode. It feels great to be back. This in my life, and as long as I can remember, this is the college football season where there is the most teams that have a legitimate shot to make the playoff, where it's like not just like Alabama versus the rest. Like it feels like they're like, we're going to get a lot of great games. I think this is going to go down as one of the best regular seasons in our long time.
It should be a lot of fun down the stretch. Excited to see it.
Championship Saturday is going to be something else. And the Friday Pac-12, usually do the Pac-12 like the Friday night, and then they go in Saturday. Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a great slate. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. And you know what? We'll be covering it all the way up into it because we're back, baby. We're back.
Live stream it.
And does it feel good? I think we have to bring back reactions where we did the reaction to the playoff. That was fun.
We
have to do that again.
Fun. That was a good one.
That was a lot of fun, but 3 and out, no longer 3-peat, 3 and out. We will be uploading hopefully twice a week. I think is the plan. I think we're going to do a Thursday preview, kind of discuss, and then like a Monday upload. I think that's kind of a recap of the weekend.
This one, as you know, this as our comeback, it kind of serves as both episodes for the week.
Yeah,
just it's going to be kind of more on the heavy side, more bloated. But once we get into that groove of the Monday episode will be like how do we do this week in terms of like our picks, our bets, all of that. Let's talk about what happened, and then the preview episodes later in the week. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm excited.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe so you can be notified for every single new episode. Check us out on Spotify. Follow us on all our social medias. Those will be linked down below. 3 and out, no longer 3-peat. See you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Have a great college football Saturday.